Hi everyone, Kai here from the University of Birmingham Battle Re-enactment Society, or Batsoc for short. Today I want to show you some of the kit that we use when we go to shows across the country and that we make in our crafting sessions. So today I want to show you some of the clothing that we wear. So we'll start off with the primary worn layer, the thing that would go on first. And that starts with these. Now these are brays. They're part of the set of the medieval equivalent of underwear, and they're made of undyed linen because not many people will be seeing these, and they're worn over the legs. So what about the torso? Well, likewise we have this, and this is an undershirt or an undertunic, again made of undyed linen because not many people will be seeing this. And so that completes your set of underwear, I suppose. So what about clothing over that, your outer layer of clothing? Well, that starts with this, and it looks like a big sock, but these are what we call hose, and they're made of woven wool, and they have a string at the end for attaching them to a fabric or a leather belt or the drawstring of the brays to keep them up, and there's one for each leg, and you just slide your leg into here like that to the end. Easy as that. And they're the medieval equivalent of trousers. Over those go these. Now, you didn't think people walked around barefoot all the time, of course not. They wore these. Now, shoes like this have been found and made of leather. They are tied with cord like this, and they have typically flat soles. So what about the torso then? What do you wear over the torso? Well, when you're out and about, you'd most likely be wearing one of these. And this is a tunic, and it's again made of woven wool. And there are many different styles of tunic, ones with different types of neckline, ones with different length of sleeves, and ones with different levels of embroidery or reinforcement. This one, for instance, has quite a bit of reinforcement on the cuffs because it makes them last longer. Again, they could be different lengths in total, so they could come down to the legs or a bit less or even a bit more. And they could also have splits at the bottom to aid ease of movement. And like all woven wool fabrics, they would be coloured by status. So typically you'd see your farmer or your freeman, so your lower status person, with paler shades of colours, whereas you'd see your lord or king even with really rich shades of deep colours. So what about the head? We've not covered that yet. Well, there is headwear, and starts with stuff like this, simple caps made of, again, woven wool or even felt, worn over the head. And it can also include stuff like this. Now this is a coif made of undyed linen, but I suppose it could be coloured as well. And tied at the bottom here with these strings, just goes over the head. Pretty simple. But then there's stuff like this. Now this is a step up because it's a hood, and hoods could be typically made of woven wool, but they could also be made of things like fur, or even lined with fur, or lined with more layers of woven wool for warmth, and this would keep the elements off you. And of course there's other types of headwear which I don't have here to show you, which include things like felt hats, so broad brimmed hats, and there's also different types of outer layers of clothing. So there's things like cloaks, which would typically be made in a semicircular or rectangular shape, wrapped around you, tied with some lace attached to it, or even a cloak pin. And there would also be things like big hoods, ones that would come down to the waist and would be, big, and they're called chaperons. And we see those in settings where people are doing agricultural work mostly, so they're a worker's garment. So that's about all I've got to say on the clothing that we wear and the types of clothing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it interesting. I know I do. And if you'd like more, well, you can go to our Guild of Students page for more information, or you can watch out for the next video, which is going to be on living history. which is what we do at medieval encampments, and how people would live their lives day to day. So, thank you very much for watching again, and I'll see you next time.